Miami is in the middle of a renaissance. The city's been dubbed the Wall Street of the South as financial firms relocate en masse to Florida. They've been drawn in by the lax COVID restrictions amid the pandemic, warmer weather, and lower taxes. The massive influx of people is having real-world effects. There are now 9 super tall skyscrapers in the works, and the first has already broken ground. These buildings will be the tallest on the US East Coast, outside of New York. At the same time, rents are surging, and some residents are being pushed further into the outer suburbs. And all of this is taking place against the backdrop of climate change.
The impacts of climate change are already being felt.
Well, first of all, Margaret, it's not theoretical for us in the city of Miami. It's real.
Miami sits right along the ocean. It's in the middle of a skyscraper building boom, and some here have questioned if the city will even be around in a matter of decades. So, how is Miami trying to construct America's next megacity when its entire future may be at risk? Miami's always been an attractive city. Its warmer weather, outdoor lifestyle, and lower taxes have been steadily drawing people in for a long time. But the pandemic accelerated things.
In the last 2.5 years, basically since the pandemic, Miami has become this magnet for the well-heeled in tech, in finance, in many other industries, in startup land. And it's really a dramatic change in the quality of tenants and the type of people that are going.
2020 saw a surge in people from other states buying lockdown retreats to escape the restrictions enforced at home. There's also been a wave of office leasing from major companies like Microsoft and Amazon. And in 2021, Florida saw the second biggest population increase in the entire country. This in turn creates more business opportunities. Once the big firms have established themselves, smaller firms that would never have considered Miami before have flocked to the city to work with these larger companies.
But the reason Miami now has this moniker Wall Street South is because the kind of firms that are moving in droves, it's no longer a little office here and there. It is actually signifying intent to make that the major base, if not the headquarters.
Experts are now saying Miami could become a major player in the tech and finance worlds, putting it on par with Silicon Valley and London within a decade. Regardless of rising sea levels, right now Miami is reaping the benefits of becoming the Wall Street of the South, and the construction industry is at the forefront of its new identity. Due to break ground in 2023, this 317-metre super tall skyscraper will become the tallest office building in the state. One Brickell city centre will feature 148,000 square metres of office space, as well as the largest floor plates for a Class A office tower in Miami. But its reign as the state's tallest office building might not last long. The proposed One Bayfront Plaza is coming in at 320 metres. To match this slate of commercial buildings, large-scale luxury residential developments are popping up all over the skyline too. There's the 319-metre skyscraper proposed for 888 Brickell Avenue that'll include 259 condos spread over 82 stories. Then there's the crown jewel of the city's newly minted super tall skyscrapers, the Waldorf Astoria Hotel and Residences. Designed as a stack of glass boxes rising 100 stories high, the Waldorf will include 360 private residential condo units, as well as 205 hotel rooms and suites. There'll also be a restaurant and ballrooms, and construction work has already begun. Before we get too far into this shiny new Miami in the making, let's take a minute to tell you about our sponsor for today's video, NordVPN. If you're a vitamin D deprived Brit like me, you might dream about one day living at the top of a Floridian skyscraper surrounded by palm trees and sunshine. If you want to browse real estate listings in Miami, then give yourself some peace of mind that your personal data and internet activity is secure, especially if you're on public Wi-Fi. There are a lot of cybersecurity threats out there. NordVPN works at super fast speeds to keep you private and secure online by hiding your IP address and routing your internet traffic through an encrypted connection to a VPN server. You can connect up to 6 devices to access TV shows, movies and games that aren't available in your country from anywhere in the world. Right now, users can get a huge discount on a 2-year plan, and if you sign up through nordvpn.com/tomorrowsbuild, you'll get an additional 4 months free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's nordvpn.com/tomorrowsbuild. Now, let's get back to the video. Everywhere you look, there is construction on a scale the city has never seen before. There's investment in new businesses, which should help boost the local economy, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword for locals. There are now record rent hikes in the city. They've gone up 45.8% over the last year. That makes it the highest increase in rent in the entire country and has earned Miami the title of the most rent-burdened city in America. Renters here devote nearly 60% of their income to paying for housing. That's pushing locals further and further out, congesting roads and swelling up the outer suburbs. It's a phenomenon seen in major cities all over the world, growing pains on Miami's way to becoming a major international metropolis.
Where it might become unsustainable is when your development and your excitement and your capital meets your infrastructure realities. Miami is not a real city in that sense, right? The roads, the public transit, all of those other things that fall in. I mean, it's essentially designed as a quaint little town and now is trying to be a city.
So, is all this growth in construction ultimately short-sighted? What will this city look like at the end of the century, or even in just a few decades? Well, Miami could be wiped off the map by 2100 and may be unlivable even sooner than that, at least according to a report called the Florida Climate Outlook put together by an independent research group. Sea levels are expected to rise by up to 79 centimeters by 2060, and the pace of that rising is getting quicker.
A new study claims that Miami Beach, Key West, and the upper and lower Keys could soon be underwater.
In an effort to make sure Miami is still around in 50 years, it's now spending $4 billion over the next 40 years to build new seawalls, elevated roads, and higher capacity pumps and drainage systems to alleviate flooding. But even that might not be enough. Some areas will have to adopt a strategy of managed retreat. Within 2 decades, these areas will be too expensive to maintain and will have to be abandoned. Florida's position at the end of the Atlantic Ocean's Hurricane Alley makes the state twice as vulnerable to these devastating superstorms than any other. In 2017 alone, cyclones contributed to an estimated $265 billion worth of damage in the state. As storms become more frequent and more deadly, it'll only become a more expensive place to stay. These factors have led to the coining of a new term in Florida real estate: climate gentrification. First popularized by a Harvard study of Miami house prices in 2018, the phrase refers to a sudden increase in the value of elevated land across the city. In 2012, the average home in Little Haiti cost $99,600. Today, the price is $414,000, just over what you'd find in Miami Beach. The reason for this: Little Haiti is 2.1 meters above sea level compared to Miami Beach's 1.2 meters. Those extra 90 centimeters are converting to dollars, and quickly. These higher elevated areas are also historically black, working class, and poorer. The people living here are now finding themselves pushed out for mega luxury developments like that of Megacity Innovation District in Little Haiti, a $1 billion 6-hectare site that would have been unheard of in the area just a few years ago. Now, it's the norm. There's no question that Miami is a city on the rise. An explosion in growth has led to record construction and towering super-tall skyscrapers unseen on the East Coast outside of New York. At the same time, it's been declared as the front line of America's climate crisis. It'll be one of the cities worst affected by rising seas and increasing hurricanes. It remains to be seen how the city will fight its looming future, but for right now, it needs to build in a way to weather the oncoming storm. This video was made possible by NordVPN. You can learn more about that at the link below. And as always, if you liked this video and you want to learn more about where construction is headed, make sure you're subscribed to Tomorrow's Build.